Well, hey guys, welcome back. I'm up on my farm here, Indian Creek, and I'm going to put in a 1 acre of soybean, and I'm getting ready to work up this ground a little bit. As I've told you before, I came in here with a rototiller, and this was all grass in here. Kind of looked like that over there. And we tilled it under, and it worked it under pretty good. There's still a lot of clumps of grass on top of this soil, and I've let it sit here for a few weeks. So what we're doing now is we are going to come over with the drag. I found this drag, you know, at a listing that I had, and I asked the old farmer if I could buy it from him, and he gave it to me. And you know, I find these out in the bushes every now and then, and you can find these, you can pick them up, and actually it does a pretty good job. As you can see, I started working, I did the first roundabout here. I'm going to work this up a few minutes, and then I'm going to plant my seed. But I'm working in some fertilizer, and I want to talk to you guys about this. This is what I've been using for a few years now, and I'm not paid by these guys, and I'm not sponsored by them at all or anything. But this is Plot Doctor, and this is a liquid fertilizer. And what's nice about this is that this little jug, 3 of them, is going to do about 1 acre of my food plots. And this happens to be a 9-18-9. So we're going to put this down, and we're going to get a nice jump start. What I like about this product is it's really easy to use. I'm out here by myself. Lugging around 50-pound bags of fertilizer to my remote plots isn't the easiest. So I just simply put this in my sprayer. I put it in the Redox, Plot Doctor Redox. I pour it in there, I get it mixed around really good, and I simply spray it on. So something to look at and something to give it a try. So right now I've got this sprayed on here. I'm working it in with this drag harrow. I'm going to come through, I'm going to broadcast, and then I'm going to work this through one more time with the drag harrow, make sure we cover those beans up, and we're going to see what we get. I'll give you an update you know, in a couple weeks as I start to see some action on this and throughout the season. But if you guys haven't tried this, look this up, Plot Doctor. It's a nice company. Steve Tatro answers all my questions. I'm giving it a try. It's easy to use. Spray it on, get to plant. All right, well, that did it. So just the harrow drag. This area here looked like this before. It was just sod. It hadn't been planted in a few years. This is one tilling here, and you can see how we didn't get it all. But this is going to look like that in a few minutes. A little bit of work, a little bit of gas, some gator time. Next up, we're going to be planting, and then we'll cultipack, get those seeds pushed in. Let's keep working. Okay, so we got the field worked up, tilled first, and then we did the drag harrow. And now we're gonna start planting some beans. I'm gonna show you what we're planting this year. This is my first time planting soybeans. I've never used it, and I've always wanted to try soybeans because I really hunt my property heavy late season. I love muzzleloader hunting, and I really want to have a late season draw, but I still wanted to have an early season draw as well. So soybeans fit the bill for both. So this year I'm planting the Real World Wildlife Products Gen 2 soybeans. It's a 50-pound bag, and I'm going to be broadcasting this seed. So I'm going to go a little heavier. I'm going to be broadcasting at a rate of about 70 pounds per acre. So this does say it fits, it plants 1 acre, but that's with a drill. So we're gonna use one bag plus you know, probably about another half of another one. We're gonna broadcast, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna cultipack it, and then we should be good. Now then after that we just have to wait for rain, and fingers crossed. Okay, before I get started here, I want to talk about seed bed prep. Now, the big movement right now is going no-till for sure, and I think it's a great idea, and it's something that I aspire to, and I'm working my way towards. But I had to break sod here, and I had to get down to the dirt, so I had to prepare a seed bed. So this year, I did till, and I exposed the soil. But what I don't like about doing that is that it dries out, and I tend to have very dry, sandy soil, and as you can see, that's what I got here. So this is dries out it really quickly. If I have got good rain, I'm good. But I had rain last night, and it's already dry like this. So keeping that cover crop on here all times is great. A great idea, especially with my soils. Another issue here is the biology of the soil. There are microbes and worms and all kinds of things, and when you expose this soil to sunlight, you fry them. You might as well light a match and out here. So that's another good reason. A third reason is once you start getting that mulch on top here, you're going to cut down on your fertilizer costs, your weed control will be better, less herbicides, and all those are benefits to the deer and the environment as a whole. And so that's something that I plan on doing. Now, as you look across this field, you can see how it's kind of bumpy, and it's because there's all this grass. But I've pulled this up with this drag harrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to broadcast the seed across this, and then I'm going to come in and I think I'm going to drag it one more time just to cover up really good. And then I'm going to come over with my cultipacker. I'm going to smash it down. I'm going to make sure I got excellent seed to soil contact, and hopefully we'll get great germination. Man, it's getting windy out here. Let's get to this. Okay, I got the first half acre in, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. And I was looking for seed separation. The first trip I went over, it was kind of light. The second trip, I went one way. Next time I went the other way. The last trip, I went a little heavy, and I put about one canister, and I'll show you the coverage that I got with one canister. See the little seeds down there? You can see that they're all about 6 to 8 inches apart all over the food plot. And I think this is going to be pretty good separation. And if I have to, I'll come back in here and maybe I'll overseed it one more time if they seem it a little thin, but I think I got good coverage the first pass. One thing that I've learned from food plotting in the last 5 or 6 years that I've been doing this is how much equipment it takes to do the job, because I know that when I was starting out, I had no idea what it would take, and I asked questions, and so I thought I'd show you what I use. I do 5-6 acres of food plot, and I'm going to show you my equipment. First is my workhorse, my John Deere Gator. This thing does so much, and mainly I use it for my sprayer. So I've got a 26-gallon sprayer here. This seems to do, about 1 acre at a time. And if you had bigger equipment, I would probably recommend a bigger tank, but 26 gallons seems to work just fine. Drag. I got this for free from an old farmer, and you could find these laying around on many farms. Sometimes they're pretty beat up, but I'm able to drag an acre in about a half hour, and I think this is invaluable. Packer, I got this for $400. It's heavy, it's old, but it works fantastic. Next is my rototiller. This is a 6-foot rototiller, and that thing is a beast. It pounded through that sod, and it really exposed the seed bed. If you're into no-till, obviously you don't like those, but when you're opening up new pots like me, you had to use it. Next is my vintage, or our vintage, probably 1940s 2-row John Deere planter. This thing didn't work perfect, but it got the seed in the ground, and when we drug it over, we covered up the seed in the fertilizer, so it did a good job. Last but not least is my tractor. This is just a John Deere 4200. It's got turf tires, as you see, but my soil here is pretty dry, so it's not a problem. Has a bucket and hydrostatic 4-wheel drive. This does a good job, and I'll tell you what, I'd hate to be food plotting without it. It doesn't take a lot of horsepower. It's 20 horsepower, and it pulls everything you saw just fine. And last but not least are my spreaders. I usually just use one of these little hand spreaders if I'm doing a small food plot. But today, because I was doing the larger food plots, an acre in size, I used a Solo. These are great. They're great quality. They're a little heavy, but they do a good job, and it stood up really well to my use, so I would highly recommend one of these. Well, that is the end of a long day, I tell you. I got dirt all over my face, as you can see, and but I got 3 acres of beans planted. I got them drug in, and they're covered up nice, and they should do well, I hope. We need another rain event. We had one last night. Got high pressure for the next couple days, and then we'll hopefully get some germination. But I did all this with minimal equipment, just a tiller and a drag and a hand spreader, and I did about 5 acres of food plots. And I got to tell you guys, if you're wondering how much work that is and what kind of equipment it's going to take to do it, you better be in good shape, because this wore me out. But I had some friends help me out, and tomorrow we're going over to his place and we're going to get his done. So beans, corn in the ground. Now I just need some rain and let them grow. So hey guys, appreciate you watching. Hope you like these updates. I'm Neil Hogger, land specialist for Whitetail Properties Real Estate, and you're watching American Landman. Thanks a lot.